One hour from now. Doesn't get any better than Greg Cosell. You bet football, play fantasy football, or just love to get smarter. 4 decades at NFL Films. Greg Cosell is joining us, and 16-time Emmy winner Tom Rinaldi's on the show today. Known Tom for a long, long time. Great guy. Joy Taylor's joining me. Yeah, Tom.
Really fast, right?
What's that?
This week went really fast.
It really did. Tom Rinaldi called me a month before he was coming to Fox, and he asked me a question, and we talked for about 15 minutes. I've known Tom for a long time, and I got off the phone, and I was like, I wonder why he called me for that question. And then he signed with Fox.
Oh.
When friends, and I hadn't heard from Tom in a long time, and I'm like, that's great to hear from you. And he asked me a question, and we prattled on for 15 minutes, and I want to know, Tommy became a teammate. And by the way, he's already done his first story, and he was
amazing.
Yeah, like, just get your tissues out for an hour and a half from now.
So do you get like a finder's fee, a recruiting fee?
That's exactly. Thank you, Joy Taylor. I was thinking about this. Yesterday, I had to drive around and do a bunch of stuff, so I was listening to all sorts of sports talk radio and, just everybody chopping it up. I was thinking, a lot of people talking about Deshaun Watson. And, in fact, Richard Sherman, great, he'll be a Hall of Fame player, right? He's talking about Deshaun Watson. Everybody's like, you should get out of there, and you should go to the Jets with their new coach, Robert Saleh. Here was Richard Sherman on a Chris Collinsworth podcast.
It would be the most beautiful. Decent offensive line. They'd have to find threats. They'd have to find some offensive weapons. But I think there would be a lot more people excited to be there. I think the free agency market this year is going to be oversaturated because of the salary cap. But that's what I would do. I would be out of there on the first thing smoking.
Okay, I know the teams. It would work with the teams. The Jets have a lot of draft picks, and the Texans need draft picks. And the Jets have a lot of cap space, and the Texans don't have any. I can make an argument for the teams. Has anybody asked Deshaun Watson? Since Deshaun Watson entered the NFL, not only have the Jets failed to make the playoffs, they have the worst record in the league. Worse than Detroit. That's what Deshaun Watson sees. In fact, in the last decade, the Houston Texans have made the playoffs 7 winning seasons and 6 division titles. That's the last decade. The Jets have 1 winning season. That's what nobody's asking Deshaun Watson about this. And remember, because he's a star quarterback, he has a no trade clause. He doesn't want to go to the Jets, does he? If I ask you, who are the 5 most dysfunctional teams in the NFL today? You know what you'd find? Most of them were dysfunctional 15 years ago. Why? Because they've had the same owner. Unless you get rid of the owner, you don't get rid of the dysfunction. That's why Cleveland for years and years, they changed a lot of stuff. They had to go through so many coaches and quarterbacks. They finally appear to have the right coach because they had the same owner. So if I'm the agent of Deshaun Watson, no. I'm not letting him go to the Jets. Go look at the Jets roster. Where is it better than the Texans? I found one position, punter. And if you are playing for the Jets and you're a punter, you get a lot of work. But offensive line, Texans actually, they have a star left tackle. Jets don't have a star anywhere in the O-line. Receivers, Texans. Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks. That's way better than anything the Jets have. Jamison Crowder's a slot guy. Doesn't run particularly well. Running back, Texans. Tight end, Texans. Where are they better? Jets didn't have a Pro Bowler last year. That's hard. I mean, it's not baseball where everybody gets an all-star for the all-star game, but they didn't have a Pro Bowler. There's a lot of places Deshaun Watson could go. Miami's a great fit. Indianapolis is an unbelievable fit. Texans aren't going to trade him in division. New England's a good fit. San Francisco potentially. But something lost in all this. Everybody's talking about Robert Saleh. Oh, this would be great. Does everybody understand? When we look at the NFL draft, we often talk about how many players don't make it. There's a lot of busts, even in the first round. We looked it up this morning, even in the top 10 picks. Like 2 to 3 of the top 10 either bust every year or they really disappoint. There's occasional outlier years. But just think about this. There's only 7 head coaches in the NFL currently who have been with their team more than 4 years. There's 32 teams. That's not even a quarter. In fact, Ron Rivera is currently the longest tenured coach in the NFC East. Ron Rivera is. Folks, 50% of coaches are an abject bust. Of the remaining 50%, maybe 10% become great. You think players bust, coaches bust at a much higher level. So I just think we should probably ask Deshaun Watson where he wants to go, because as much as I lobbied yesterday for the trade to happen, it makes sense for a radio guy when I'm trying to connect the dots with draft picks and salary. You can't let Deshaun Watson go to the Jets. 2 weeks ago, I was imploring Trevor Lawrence shouldn't go to the Jets. Deshaun's better than Trevor Lawrence today, isn't he? I want to talk about this. So Aaron Rodgers he's very happy this year.